Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's look is focused mainly on the skin and how to get a really natural glowy look. Even with my oily skin, there are some days where I don't want to look like I have a ton of makeup on, so I went with a lighter coverage foundation and a primer that has more of a luminescence to it. So if you guys want to see how I got this springtime glowy look, just keep watching. First, I'm going in with Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer, and I am just putting this in the places where I get the most oily throughout the day. Then I'm going to use the Clarins Instant Light Radiance Boosting Primer, and this is what's going to give me that very lit from within look. And as you can tell, I put way too much on, but whatever, we're just going to go with it. Now I'm applying MAC's Bare Study Pro Longwear Paint Pot and using a Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. This is just going to provide a base for the eyeshadow to stick to. Now going in with the shade Vanilla from the Smashbox Photo Matte Eyes eyeshadow palette. This is just going to be my all over color wash. So the majority of this eyeshadow look is going to be from the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. So I am just going in with the shade Limit, and I'm going to use that with a Coastal Scents, like kind of like a big blending brush, and that's going to be my transition shade. Now I'm using the shade Nooner with a Morphe medium size blending brush, and just using that to darken up the crease. I'm not trying to go real heavy on the eye makeup with this look. It is supposed to kind of focus more on the skin and how to give yourself a more glowy complexion for the springtime. I'm just using a long comb blending brush just to soften up any harsh edges. Now I'm using the shade Trick with a Morphe packing brush, and I'm just applying this all over the lid to about 3/4 of the way to the outer corner, and this is just going to give me a nice little sheen on the eye. I'm going back in with the shade Nooner just to darken up the outer edges just a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead with that blending brush from Lancome again just to kind of soften it up. I'm just adding product and blending it out just to try to achieve the look that I want with this. Next, I am using MAC's Fluid Line in Black Track with a Morphe Gel Liner brush just to try to add a thin line to my lash line. And it started off as a thin line and just kind of made its way to be thicker and thicker. Now going in with Black Heart from the Naked 3 palette again and using a Morphe angled shadow brush. I am just placing this on top of my gel liner just to kind of set it for the day and kind of give it a little bit of a more purpley hue. So you can see here where I kept the eye soft so that I can keep the focus on the skin. I have a few blemishes that I want to cover up, so I am using MAC's Studio Finish Concealer in the shade NW20, and I'm using a Coastal Scents small concealer brush, and I'm just tapping it on there and then kind of blending out the edges, kind of by just like cross hatching, going back and forth just to make it smooth and blend a little bit easier. You obviously want more product to be on the center of the situation going on there, so putting more product on the center and then kind of blending out the edges. So even though that is a thicker type concealer, I'm going in with a more sheer coverage foundation, the MAC's Face and Body with a Real Techniques sponge. And this foundation is really good. It's very lightweight and it's not going to give me too much coverage where it's not going to give me the glowy effect that I want. And those blemishes just need a little bit more coverage. Now for my under eyes, I'm going in with Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector with the same small concealer brush and just popping that in the areas where I have the darkest tint. Now I'm using the Stila Aqua Glow Serum Concealer from my under eyes just to go on top of that brightening corrector. And I was super impressed with how creamy and smooth this concealer is. It's not too thick and it's not too thin. It's about a medium weight coverage concealer. And it's really nice. You can obviously see where I got way too much. So I'm going to run it on the other side of my eyes, and then I'm going to go down my forehead, my nose, and my chin as well. I certainly wasn't anticipating how far that concealer would go, so a little bit does go a long way with this. Now I'm just blending that all out with the Real Techniques blend-in sponge again, just to make sure it is nice and even and glowy. Now with my Laura Mercier loose setting powder in the color Translucent, I'm just going to use a Real Techniques 300 Bold Metals brush, and I am just going to set the under eye area. Then I'm going to use my Clinique Stay Matte Sheer Press powder, and I'm just going to use a fluffy powder brush, and I'm just going to lightly press that into the skin. I don't want to go too heavy-handed with this. Now to bronze up the skin, I am using Clinique's Blend Face Powder number 10 Transparency Bronze. And I'm going to use my usual Lancome number 6 blush brush to apply it. I love this bronzer because it's got such a nice golden glow to it. It is beautiful for the summer, and it's got just a light sheen to it as well. And I always stick with just putting bronzer around the outer edges of the face just to give me some dimension there. Now I'm applying MAC's powder blush in the shade Margin with a Coastal Scents angled blush brush. I love this color because it's just a very soft peachy tone, and those are my favorite kind of blush colors. Now I'm taking MAC's Luster Drops in Pink Rebel, and I'm just applying this just to the tops of the cheekbones, just so I can give myself just a little bit of added glow, since that's the look that we're going for. And I'm also applying it on my Cupid's bow, on the bridge of my nose. Now, of course, I also have to add a powder highlighter. So this is the Balm's Mary Luminizer with a Real Techniques fan brush. I'm just applying that wherever I put the liquid highlighter, just to give it a little bit more oomph. So I'm done with the face now, and I'm going back to finish up the eyes. So I'm using a Coastal Scents Fat Short pencil brush, and I'm using Nooner and just running that under my lash line. And then I'm going to use Estee Lauder's Double Wear Stay in Place eye pencil in pink gold just to run along my waterline, just to open up my eyes a little bit. And it's a really pretty pink champagne color, so it's going to give it kind of an iridescent look as well. So I'm going to give my lashes a curl, and then I'm going to apply the Lancome's Hypnose Mascara, of course. I know I'm running out of this, so I'm going to have to switch to something else. So now I'm going in with Clinique's Bottom Lash Mascara, just to kind of darken up the roots of my bottom lashes just a little bit so they're not completely lost. So now I'm going to do a little brow work, and I think I've kind of figured out how to actually give my brows some shape. So I'm using the spoolie end of a Lancome brow pencil, and I'm just using that to just comb through my brow hairs. And then I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer in the shade Taupe, just to kind of go on the inner corner of my brows and just to give that a little bit of shape. And then I'm going to comb through them again. And then I'm using the colored part of the brow pencil from Lancome, and I'm just going to draw a line from the inner corner of my brows, and I'm going to try to draw a line towards the middle of it and darken that up. So that kind of helps give me an arch and actually give me some shape to my brows. And while trying not to mess anything up, because it's kind of hard to do my brows, I'm using MAC's Clear Brow Gel just to set everything. Then I'm going in with MAC's Pigment in Vanilla with a small long comb packing brush, and I'm just adding that to the inner corner of the eyes and on the arch of the brow bone for highlight. Now for lips, I am keeping it very soft and very light. I'm using Makeup Forever's Aqua Lip in the shade 22C, and then I'm going to use Clinique's Chubby Stick number 14 in Curvy Candy. I love these little chubby sticks because they're very light, they're glossy, and they're not super pigmented to where it's going to kind of take away from the overall look. And just setting this with Urban Decay's All Nighter Setting Spray, and that's the completed look. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked it, and I hope this kind of gave you a little bit of inspiration if you are kind of trying to go for a more glowy look, especially with the spring and summer coming in. And yeah, I hope you guys like it. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.